Welcome back to Tater Talk, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of exceptional Lamb Weston experiences. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Haley.
And in today's episode, we're going to explore the final main pillar of our premium promise, which is premium partners.
Yes, and we'll talk about how we put acres of intention into every single potato and product that we make. But this is where we really start to lean into the partnership we offer at Lamb Weston. This idea being if you're looking for a partner that cares just as much about you do, about what goes on your customers' plates, reach out to us at Lamb Weston. And so in today's episode, you'll meet Brandon McMurdy and Amy DiPietro.
Yeah, and we're going to give a quick little bio on each of them. If you don't know them, you're about to fall in love with them. They are both fun and have so many big personalities, so it's a really fun conversation. But I'll do a quick little bio on Brandon. He's been with Lamb for almost 9 years and has covered spaces from national account manager and is currently the director of sales for McDonald's. But he has almost 20 years of food service experience after he's gone through all of that after he originally started studying economics at the University of Wisconsin, Green Bay. So all the cheesehead stuff you can talk to him about.
I'm so excited to introduce you all to Amy DiPietro. We all know Amy. We all adore Amy. Amy is a sales training manager and has been with Lamb Weston for over 6 years. Amy has worked in food service sales since 2005 after studying business and marketing at Howard Community College. And just beyond that, she has such a big, bold personality. I mean, we all can remember how iconic she was at the sales business conference this year. So truly a joy to have them both on the show.
Yeah, so stay tuned for our conversation with Amy and Brandon. Okay, welcome, Amy and Brandon. Super excited to have y'all today. In typical training team fun fashion, Amy wants to start us off with an icebreaker. So I'm going to toss it over to Amy before we even get started on anything.
Yes. Oh, so excited. All right, let me think of something that won't freak Brandon out. Let's do, how about 2 truths and 1 lie?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I like it.
Okay.
You do? All right.
You
okay.
do.
Do you want me to go first or do you want to go first?
You go first.
Okay. I have never skydived. I'm gonna save that one because that's not okay. I've never skydived. I have a 10-year-old and man, I should have been really way better with this. Sorry.
You came up with it.
One more. I'm a Washington Commanders fan. So PG.
Am I supposed to guess or is Brandon
Yeah.
supposed to guess?
Can I guess first?
Please.
Yeah.
For sure, the lie is a Washington Commanders fan because there's only one out there that I know of. So that has to be the lie.
Wait, who's the one? Are you going to put them on blast?
Exactly. You're going to say Jason Light, aren't you? Jason Light is a Commanders fan. He is not alone. There's a legion of us out there. It's true. Of course. Come on, Brandon.
No way. All right, so I lose.
All right, what's the lie?
I don't think they're 10.
She's 10.
She is 10?
She's 10.
I was
She'll
going
be
to
11. She'll be 11 in January, but yeah, she's 10.
I was a year behind, so I thought it was going to be like a small lie. I thought she was 9, turning 10.
Mm-hmm. That was good though.
So
yeah, no, I've never skydived.
Dang.
So
I have bungee jumped.
So you're right, Brandon.
Wait, I thought he said the lie was nobody is a Commanders fan.
Yeah, but you said you never skydived, so that's the truth.
Yes. Even better. Even better.
No.
Brandon, you're up.
This game was rigged.
Oh my gosh. That was a good one.
The game is rigged. Yeah.
Great way to
Good
start.
one.
The game is always rigged, Brandon.
Okay, remember,
so
it's 2 truths and 1 lie.
Yeah, 1 lie.
And 1
Tell
lie.
the
So
lie.
I got to make sure to have the lie in there. Okay, so 2 truths and 1 lie. All right. So I've never skydived. I have an 18, 16, and 14-year-old for children. And I've run 13 marathons.
I don't think you've run 13.
Okay.
I feel like that would have come up in conversation more frequently. I wouldn't think that you'd
Okay.
be able to be quiet about that.
I gotta
Okay,
agree with
all right.
Rachel.
Okay.
I'm gonna go wild and say that you have, in fact, skydived, and that
I also think
is,
he may have skydived. That's where I was stuck, but
yeah.
we'll go with it.
I'm
Yeah.
stuck.
So
I'm just
Haley's
meeting
right.
you.
Haley wins. Haley wins. She's never met
Nice.
me, really.
I just met
Thank
you, Brandon.
Rachel.
You've done well, I talked to you enough. I would have thought that a marathon would have come up in conversation.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
one of them.
Yep.
It
At
would have
least one.
definitely
Never.
come up if I had run 13 marathons. I would be
13?
talking about it nonstop. So
Yeah.
kudos to Brendan for just being the silent hero, quite frankly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's just casual.
True.
It's like, I
Very
mean,
true.
even CrossFitters are more loud, so geez.
Yeah.
They love
No offense to
CrossFit.
any CrossFitters out there.
Love the CrossFit.
Lots of friends
Well,
in CrossFit.
thanks for the icebreaker. That was a great way to just get us started. It was. It got a little bit more
It was
information
good.
on other than just your bios, which everyone had already heard as in the intro to the show. So,
Oh yeah,
so you
those
got
are probably boring.
yeah, they're just like, surface level. This was a great way to get to know both of y'all a little bit more. But we'll dive right in, and we are going to start a little bit broad. But what does a premium partner mean to each of you? You can decide who wants to go first.
I'll jump in first and then I'll let Amy go.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. So being a premium partner to me, so I am going to steal something from our customer experience team. So to me, it really does boil down to making it easy to choose Lamb Weston. So I've always taken a lot of pride in our company since I've started that we do go above and beyond for our customers. And, I think behind closed doors, there's a lot of what I always call the normal stages of relationships, right? Of the storm and Norman Foreman, right? So we'll all sit and bicker at one another just because we're close family, in my opinion. But we always do end up coming up with the right thing to do for the customer. And it may be something that is very difficult, and we know it's going to take a lot of time. But at the end of the day, I know that we do put our customers first, and we know that, we're going to do what it's going to take to make sure that our customers are serviced. And I have a lot of pride that our relationships run deep at our customers, and they run deep through many different channels. It's just not sales. So I know that sales is always seems to be the go-to when people think of customers and the relationships that we have with customers. But I think that it's awesome that as an organization, we put representation in front of our customers from all different walks, the different departments, right? Whether it is marketing, whether it's quality, whether it's innovation team, whether it's supply chain, you name it, and we'll put it in front of our customers, and we share our resources with our customers. So to me, it really is giving our customers that unexpected level of service that they did not expect that they would get from us. And it's always constantly kind of giving them reasons to be delighted that they're with Lamb Weston as a partner. And I think that it goes a long way. I think it's one of those things that it may not pencil out at the end when it comes down to it. They look at price, and that's we know the customers don't only buy on price. And I think that that's where Lamb Weston sets ourselves apart. Is I do believe we are a premium partner to our customers.
That's awesome.
What a nice answer.
I know. You're like, you just
What am I
gotta
supposed to
follow
say now, Brandon?
Yeah. Ditto.
Yeah.
Retweet, Amy.
Yeah.
Set you up there for the win on the two truth and one lie. I agree with what Brandon's talking about. I guess I have a little bit of a different lens, maybe just a little bit. So always having spent the majority of my career in the sales, like on the street. I agree. I think this is by far the most layered company I've ever worked for in terms of resources. Like the well is so deep that we have the ability to go in so many different directions. Sometimes I think perhaps sales doesn't even realize how many directions they can go in to get the support. With the seat I sit in now, what always amazes me is the collaborative teams, that's where my first thought comes to nowadays in terms of a premium partner. We There's just so many really incredible bodies of work that are happening throughout the organization. And Brandon listed some, right? Like marketing, finance. I think about the customer success team. I think about our plants and how each of them has like their own culture and um, their own passion that drives what they're doing. It's really kind of neat to see it. And that's been really kind of a newer thing for me, learning more and more about the plant side of it. And then when I think about, somebody mentioned culinary and everything that they bring to the table, insights like that team. It's it really does kind of blow me away when I think about how many layers there are and how much access is granted to sales. Like there's no real gatekeepers. If anything, it's like, hey, who do I go to? I get this question all the time. Who do I go to get this? And I'm like, oh, this is who we go to, right? Um and it's usually not just one person. Like there's usually like 3 or 4 deep of people that I could be like, okay, let's connect you here to understand something about the product portfolio, or let's walk down this quote unquote hallway and we can talk to people that can answer some questions for you about why this distribution lane is set up this way. So for me, it is all of the internal workings of like the coolest. I think of like the inner workings of like a clock or a watch that make it all go so effortlessly most of the time. And I feel like we're just getting started. Like, and that gets me like pretty jacked up about it. Like we're just getting started.
Yeah. Well, and I think you hit on it too. Like, there's so many moving parts, but in your analogy of like the clock or something, like a lot of it is behind the scenes. A lot of it you don't. And this is, I think, what Brandon was saying too. Of everyone thinks of sales because they're the ones that are on the outside. They're on the
Right.
surface of it all. And so there's so many things behind the scenes. And to your point of just getting started, I mean, that's the benefit too of like what we're trying to do with this podcast is like trying to amplify the voices and the different parts behind the scenes that so people are aware. So they're knowing, like, because I think to your point, like you can point them in the right direction, but sometimes we don't even know that there's a hallway to walk down, that there's even someone that talks about that. And so I think that's really cool. I like that analogy a lot too, because there's so much happening and they all work together in a way, and one thing can't work without the other. And so, yeah, it's just really neat perspective.
Yeah, and adding on that, mostly because y'all stole the second question from me in some ways, but I think it is a really cool tie to consider how when we partner well internally and we're premium partners internally, how that transforms the experience for our customers externally, and how we can be premium partners on that side of the playing field. So. I mean, Brandon, I know you spoke to it quite a bit about being a premium partner for our customers, but if both of you have anything else to add on that work and how what we do internally can help transform that experience externally, that could be kind of a cool thing to touch on.
You want to go? You want to play rock, paper, scissors?
You can go first this time, Amy. Go for it.
You sure?
I guess so. But if your answer is way too good, then we'll go to the next question.
I mean, like, because I'll rock, paper, scissors right now. We can go right now.
Do it.
No, you win.
All right. You win. I will say that I would use this time for sure to highlight what I think is so cool about the fact that we have a direct sales force. When I look at that premium, when I look at the premium promise, the direct sales force is probably the biggest piece to me. And I'm not knocking anything else. Like I love the product. And, I mean, gosh, in a previous life, I sold Lamb Weston for a distributor, and I've always believed in the product and I know how awesome it is. But having like our own line of defense, having the ability to walk into a customer that, just through the course of a salesperson's day having the opportunity to walk into a building that they've never seen before, never paid attention to, introduce themselves, and try to get to the decision maker to get an appointment. Like, that's incredible, right? And the commitment that they have, and as like as a salesperson, which is tough, definitely how I would identify myself even still, there's like the thrill of that. Like, there's so much like, there's nothing quite like that excitement, the build up, like, ooh, here's a new potential friend, right? And like, oh, I can't wait to get to know this person and pick apart their business and see how, like, is it going to fit? Are we going to work? Are we going to do the dance? I don't know. We'll see what happens. And knowing that they get to come back to their offices, their home offices, and, it's, so like, all of them pick up the phone and say, hey, I need to know how to do this because I want to get this for this customer. You make something up here, like, it's a Tara Wiggin or a Fran D'Angelo or a Jenny Freebird, you know what I mean? And like, the list goes on and on and on. Picking up the phone, and the distributors too. It's a Kelly Prouty asking internally these teams for like the 100th time, I don't like your answer, I need a new one, right? Like, that's the power of a direct sales force, which includes, when I say that, I include our operator sales teams, our chain account teams, I'm including our distributor sales manager teams, our multinational chain, like, that's everybody, right? And we all have the same goal, to keep growing, to keep getting better. And I feel as though our culture fosters that kind of work, right? I don't feel like anybody's turned away when you raise your hand and say, I'm looking to understand this because I want to serve my customer, or I want to bring this customer on board, and this is why. I haven't seen anybody get turned away yet. Of course, I'm going to say that, and somebody's going to call me in like a week and be like, do you know when you said blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, okay, well, but I haven't, like,
there's always an exception, but
there's always an exception. And, but it is really the neatest thing to see it. Sometimes I forget how fortunate we are in that space, because I've worked for organizations where I raised my hand and said, hey, what about this? Can we think about it in this way? And if I was lucky enough to even get a response, it was, no, we don't do it that way here. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like everybody, no matter who you are or what part of the business you serve, has an opportunity to raise your hand and say, have we thought about doing it this way? And I think that alone is a promise that the organization delivers to the team members, so the team members can then in turn deliver to the customer.
Okay, y'all, we're going to pause there with our conversation with Amy and Brandon. Stay tuned for part 2.